My recent triple back-to-back booking was frankly a logistical comedy of errors. I am an insider, a self-proclaimed gentleman's guide to cruising, and yet I managed to make the kind of mistakes that cost me the price of an entire second vacation. This mistake, or rather these 5 mistakes, cost me over $2,000 in purely avoidable expenses. You see, I let the itinerary excitement hijack my financial common sense. Now, let me turn to you. What is your biggest mistake you ever did when cruising? Drop your honest answer in the comments below. Good day and welcome. In the next minutes, I'm going to tell you the single most critical calculation I failed to make before booking this itinerary. A mistake that cost me a small fortune. I am going to dissect the 5 specific mistakes I made on that trip, the trip that began with that repositioning cruise, so that you, my sophisticated cruiser over 50, never have to repeat them. The Human Boomerang itinerary. I was referred by a friend on the channel as Human Boomerang, and honestly, I deserved it. I will only give rough orders of magnitude for the costs, as a gentleman should, but the lesson, the cost structure, is the eternal truth. The journey was a blur. It started with a flight from Zurich to Lisbon, followed by Lisbon to Miami, and then Miami to San Juan, just to catch the first ship. The first cruise was a repositioning cruise from San Juan back to Lisbon on Norwegian. Then it was a flight from Lisbon to Barcelona, where I caught the second cruise, the Explora journey sailing, and sailed back to Lisbon. Then a flight from Lisbon to New York for the third cruise, a Royal Caribbean sailing that went to the Bahamas and back. And finally, the grand finale, New York to Lisbon, and then Lisbon back to Zurich. If that sounds exhausting, it was. And if it sounds expensive, you're about to find out exactly why. Avoiding all this chaos and cost boils down to one single sacred secret, one formula that I will reveal before the end of the video. Dissecting the 5 costly errors. Mistake number 1, the logistical lunacy. This was the obvious one. The mistake was booking 3 back-to-back cruises without ensuring the next one started where the previous one ended, or at least very close by. I was simply chasing itineraries, not efficiency. The consequence? This meant a flurry of costly flights between the cruises, multiplying my airfare expense like a bad investment. Crucially, it introduced the epic risk of flight cancellation. One missed flight from Lisbon to Barcelona and the entire subsequent travel arrangement would have been in jeopardy. This added hundreds of dollars to the cost, and enough stress to wrinkle my tuxedo. Mistake number 2, the Caribbean Commute. Well, an idiot could spot this one a mile away. The mistake? Booking a Caribbean and Bahamas cruise that departed all the way from New York. The consequence? Well, unless you live in the Northeast and can simply drive to the port, flying to New York is extremely costly and the hotels aren't cheap either. But the greater cost is time. The ship spends a day and a half each way sailing in less than tropical weather just to get there. As an international traveler, I first flew intercontinentally to New York, only for the ship to spend the first 36 hours sailing away from the destination. I should have simply flown directly to Miami or another close port, saving another significant chunk of money and maximizing my sunbathing time. Mistake number 3, the one-way trap. This is the unknown to most, the mistake. Buying multiple one-way business class flight tickets. The consequence? A one-way intercontinental flight ticket is disproportionately more expensive than half the cost of a return flight. As a generic rule of thumb, a return business class ticket between Europe and the US is about $4,000 or $2,000 per leg, while a one-way is about $3,000, thus much more costly. I had a one-way Lisbon to Miami and then another one Miami to San Juan. The gentleman's solution, the payoff? Well, you actually have 2 solutions to stop giving airlines your cash. First, or 1, plan ahead and book 2 repositioning cruises, one to the US in the fall and one back to Europe in the spring, and buy a single round-trip ticket to match those dates, saving you thousands across the 2 trips. 2, The one airlines don't advertise, book a flexible return fare with a second leg scheduled well into the future. Thus, you will be able to cancel it and get the money refunded. Well, I've already shared 3 costly errors, but my next 2 are essential, especially my final secret. But first, a quick thank you. I was thrilled to see so many insightful comments on the last video. Thanks to Ian Parks, who emphasized research when planning a cruise. That diligence is exactly what I lacked here. And to Artman, I'm amazed you confidently booked 5 more Explora cruises through 2028. That's the planning dedication we need. If you found the last 3 tips helpful, you absolutely must subscribe right now. My final mistake is the secret sauce to avoid all 5 of these booking blunders. And I'm about to reveal that exclusive money-saving solution right after this. Don't let the algorithm hide the crucial advice I'm about to share. Click subscribe. Thank you. Mistake number 4, the Solo Conundrum. The mistake: not prioritizing cruise lines with favorable single supplements. The consequence? The first cruise was fine. I was traveling with family, so not applicable. The second cruise was with Explora Journeys, a good company for solo travelers, where I managed to get a 0 solo supplement. Anyway, they are typically around only 25%. But the third, with Royal Caribbean, basically has the double occupancy principle. Sell 1, pay 2. If you are a solo gentleman cruiser, you must book with a line that caters to you, or you'll pay double the base fare. A massive avoidable cost. Fortunately, I had a friend to share the cabin, but that was pure luck. By the way, and speaking of Explora Journeys, do you know we have an upcoming group cruise for this channel? It is on April 2nd from San Juan to Miami. You can still book and join us. I'm leaving the link to the request for quote form and contact for Lisa, the fantastic travel advisor, on the screen and in the description below. You won't get the initial launch fare, but we still managed to get the fare far better rate than booking outside the group. Join us. Mistake number 5, the secret sauce to all mistakes. The mistake or secret. This is the culmination of all errors. The mistake was not calculating my experience cost per night before booking. The gentleman solution, the ultimate payoff. This is the sacred formula. You must lay out all costs: cruise fare, flights, hotels, transfers, sum it all up and divide the total by the number of cruise nights. That single number, the experience cost per night, is my sacred guideline. It tells me if I should or should not book a crazy itinerary like this one. Looking back, my excitement let my costs soar well past my acceptable luxury threshold. This is way more than the $2,000 secret. If you want to see exactly how this whole Human Boomerang itinerary played out on the ships, I'll have the original video linked in the final section and down in the description below. Now, I have another trio of back-to-back cruises coming up before the end of the year. The Rotterdam Holland America, November the 7th, Resilient Lady, Virgin, November 29th, and Star of the Seas, Royal Caribbean, December 7th. By the way, Lisa will also be on that last cruise. Subscribe now to follow this journey and find out which new expensive mistake I will inevitably make, and which old mistakes I successfully avoid so that you can avoid them all. Do you want to know anything specific about those ships? Drop it in the comments below. And if you are on any of those sailings, tell me. And let's meet for a glass of wine on board. Until the next video, happy cruising!